you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. Test.
Test.
Test. Test.
Reduce.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We have another lovely segment of Convincing Idiots lined up for you on this beautiful Monday afternoon or whenever you're listening. That's right. This is Convincing Idiots. I'm Millennial Nick alongside Gen X Brian and sometimes repeating Zennial Dean. We are going to be spending our third segment, again, paying homage to the late, great Jim Donovan by discussing some of our favorite sportscasters of all times. So Brian mentioned at the end of last segment, but yeah, it could be local teams, could be national broadcasters in general, sportscasters that you've enjoyed listening to over the years. So Dean, let's start with you before your mic cuts out.
Alrighty. Well, I had mentioned him in the previous segment. I'm going local. I'm going Tom Hamilton for your Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
Everything I said in the last segment, to hear his, I defy anybody to not get pumped up hearing him make any home run call.
Yeah, he makes national like if there's a big play for the Guardians, it's not uncommon, and ESPN will even use his call in the background of their video. I mean, it's really
Absolutely.
yeah.
He is an icon. I don't think just around here. I think nationally people do understand what he does and who he is.
Yeah, I think he played for Cleveland as a player, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he really? Wow.
I think so. And then at 30 plus years. I mean, he's been commentating since
he started with Herb.
Yeah, the great Indians games of the 90s. He was calling games back then, right? So
you know how Jim Rosenthaus is his name, I believe, the guy that the second in the booth.
Yes, yeah.
Tom Hamilton was second to the booth to Herb Score until Herb Score passed away.
Yeah, many years.
Absolutely. So yeah, my first on my list is Tom Hamilton.
Gen X Brian here from the Convincing Idiots podcast. If you're enjoying our show, tell a friend. And if you're not, well, tell two enemies.
Very good.
Nikolai?
Okay, me next?
Nobody was talking, so I just...
Okay.
No, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go with my personal local guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe Bowen. Joe Bowen has been calling Maple Leafs games for a very long time, and he has all these Joe Bowen isms, I would say. His big thing is, holy Mackinac, what a goal! And he's this big, fun-loving Irish Canadian guy that loves his whiskey and loves his Leafs. And there's just so many things over the years that I hate to even think of the day where he's no longer with us. But he, like you said with Jim Donovan, and you get in the car, same deal. The Leafs, in hockey, 82 games a year, play all nights, all different nights of the week, and there are times where I've got running around to do, but like I hate not being able to watch a game, but I do love being able to hear Joe Bowen on the radio, because Joe Bowen is not anymore. He used to be the Leafs. It's weird because the Leafs are the Leafs, and in Canada and they are always the national broadcast, so they really don't have a home television broadcast, which sucks sometimes, because you don't get, when you watch the Leafs on TV, you're getting TSN, which is Canadian ESPN, or you're getting Sportsnet, which is like a Fox Sports. You're getting, but it's an overall, it's not a localized thing with the Leafs in hockey. But on the radio, Joe Bowen is always on there, and so many iconic moments through the years, and different calls that he's had, and from Austin Matthews' 4-goal debut in the NHL, 4 goals, the kid's on fire. Just his voice and bless you, boys, and just all these different. This kind of, anybody that listens to us is not going to get this because they're probably not spending a lot of time watching the Toronto Maple Leafs, or let alone listening to them on the radio. But there again, his calls for the Leafs are always used in their sizzle reels and in their, what I mean? Like, he is the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I wish to God, because he used to be on TV too, but because of TV rights and stuff, they're always the national broadcast, so he's not really ever on TV. But man, I love me some Joe Bowen. So Bonesy is on my list. Brian?
There you go. I think my all-time favorite sportscaster, the late great John Madden.
Yep,
just
on my list
phenomenal.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, John Madden. Not only did he commentate, he was just fun. He was fun to listen to. But he was so intelligent about the game of football. I know for a fact, I learned more about the game of football watching him. He set the tone.
Yep.
He really set the tone for teaching the game of football as he was broadcasting, to the point where they gave him like the telestrator stuff. I mean, he was one of the first to use that technology and show you this is where the guy's pulling, and it's like stuff you didn't really pay attention to, but he would show you how the guard on the line would pull across the line and run a block, and all these things from being a coach, a successful coach, a Hall of Fame coach in his own right. And then certainly he was a huge part of the phenomenon of the Madden football. I mean, the EA Sports approached him to help create a football game, and he said, "I only do it if it teaches about the game of football." So that all those elements are in that video game as well. So, it just he was very big in the '90s. I know, Nick, that you and I, being Cowboys fans, I mean, CBS or Fox, when he was on, he
was basically the voice of the Cowboys for us in the heydays. Absolutely.
Yeah, him and Pat Summerall absolutely were such a good tandem, and then he went on to Monday Night Football with Al Michaels there for several seasons as well. But it was just a huge part of Sundays and Thanksgiving. His whole
been quite a few movies.
Giving away the turkey legs, Thanksgiving Day, and all that stuff. Just a fun.
He was
presence.
One that you really like. You could feel his love for the game.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, just coursing through. I mean, everything he said, you could tell by listening to him how much he fucking loved football, and it made you excited about it too. Like you said about the video games, like he, for so many people, and certainly people my age that grew up playing Madden, him and Pat Summerall, like I still to this day, I'll watch football games, and like their voices are in the back of my head calling again. There's still that. I used to even sometimes I would emulate them in my room. Like I'd turn the game on mute and I would talk like Pat Summerall. Oh, it's a 5-yard carry there. And, I'll tell you what, like I can't do the John Madden voice, but the way that like they played so well off each other. I actually have them both written. I have like Pat Summerall as an honorable mention, just because of like, to me, they are such a cohesive unit because of not only their broadcasting together, but used together on the Madden games. And I played the fuck out of the Madden games when I was a kid. Like, so they were the soundtrack of football, And, but yeah, man, he was just so enthusiastic. And like you said, as a young kid and in my younger years, I never really noticed what you had mentioned about teaching the game. But looking back, you're like, yeah, like everything, even like you said, the Madden game, in the play select screen, you select a play and it shows you the routes, and it's got the little yellow lines and the breakdown, or the white lines for the running play or the sweeps or whatever. And you see what route every different passing option is going to run. And you didn't think of it that way, but it was subconsciously teaching you football strategy. And it's brilliant. It's amazing. What an incredible ambassador to the game of football. There probably isn't a better one than John Madden.
Right.
Yeah, then he went on, as we know, he started to do his all Madden team every season, and that became a big deal. And players wanted to be on the all Madden. And some even spoke that they it was more of an honor for them to be on the All Madden team than even like the Pro Bowl and things like that. It was such a thing that John Madden noticed them doing, guys that normally wouldn't get the recognition.
Right.
He recognized linemen probably more than anybody, at the time. So yeah. If you've never seen it, go back and find they made a documentary, and ironically it aired shortly before his death a couple years ago. So find that somewhere and check that out. It just not only was he just a great commentator, but he seemed like just a great man, family man, and just a good dude, So anyway, John Madden. There you have it.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Dane,
I'm going to go a little more unique here, boys. Not quite the sport you would think of, but I'm going Jim Ross from WWE.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Now,
that's a slobber knocker, Gene. That's a great pick.
If you look at like different commentators or broadcasters at the time, a lot of them have these isms that you'd said. A lot of them have the certain phrases. Like he was full of them. And now I don't know how many people know, but he also did college football broadcasting as well, like local college football broadcasting too. But no, my childhood was, or at least my formative years as a youth, watching wrestling was him and Jerry the King Lawler doing, Monday Night Raw. And he brought the professionalism. Like before Jim Ross, you had the likes of Bobby Heenan or Vince McMahon or Jesse the Body Ventura, which is all just like characters. Like, I mean, just their characters themselves. Jim Ross brought a sports feel to it. So,
and also, what a hype man.
Right.
Like, the way he would you talk about emotion. I watched a sizzle reel the other day, and it was like it was Jim Ross's hatred for Triple H over the years. Like, my God, have you no soul? Have you no moral? My God, haven't you a heart? That son of a bitch. Like, that's what a monster. Yeah.
That like he was like one step away from calling him a motherfucker.
Yeah,
every time.
Just spitting mad, just like, oh my God, he can't. Oh my God, is he really? Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. And then just so, like, he made you, and there again, honorable mention there with Jerry the King Lawler.
Absolutely.
With him. They were such a great unit, and Jerry was as your color guy, you're, oh my God, the way he'd react and get all high pitched and squeaky.
Entertainment.
And oh my God, Jim was the Jim Ross was the real, button down guy and the integrity of wrestling, and oh my God, and he had all his isms and the slobber knockers and the all that
times
stuff.
had to get real, like when Owen Hart died in the ring, they had to announce it. At the booth, they put the cameras on those two while they were wheeling him out, and they had to announce to the at-home audience that he had died. You know what I mean? So like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, well, I don't know if you remember, but Jerry the King Lawler died on air once. Yeah, he had a heart attack at the booth during a Monday Night Raw.
Really?
You just hear.
How long ago was that?
At this point, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay, wow.
They're commentating a match, and then you kind of hear just one guy talking, and then you hear like a gurgle, and then they cut to commercial, come back, and there's footage of them, doing CPR to him as they're wheeling him back through the crowd. He died on air. By the time they got to him at the booth, he was dead. I guess his heart had stopped for like the most that you probably should, but he recovered and everything. But
wow,
Jesus, wow.
Well, you die on air every week.
Yep. Oh my God, he really got him with that one. Brian have you no moral compass at all? He's got a family. By God.
Brian, for being mean to me. You should be yelling at Brian and JR.
Yeah.
But if I actually do ever die while filming, you better fucking air that shit. Yeah.
Of course.
There's no, it's in poor taste. No, if I keel over, that's going to be great audio and video. So you air that shit.
That is the race. That is the ultimate race against time. What will give out first, Dean's liver or this podcast?
Yeah. I just hope at times where he makes a noise and it just repeats in the microphone. You know what I mean? Just the eternal.
Yeah. Him choking on his own vomit forever.
This microphone now, when it goes out, I hear a buzzing noise now. And when you do the timing of your head doing this, so it looked like fucking, the heart monitor beep.
Yeah.
Did one of those deals.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on before this fucking.
Yeah. Nick, you're up.
That's good fun. I'm gonna go with another voice of a video game. As much as I love Madden, perhaps the only other video game sports-wise that I played more was the NHL games from EA Sports, and that was actually the Vancouver Canucks local broadcaster, Jim Hewson. Jim Hewson, I feel like, so I got into hockey originally through playing video games, and I feel like a lot of the, there's a lot of players from all over the world in the NHL, and some of the last names are kind of odd. And I feel like the way that I learned to say a lot of like European last names is through Jim Hewson's voice, like hearing him say them out loud. Jim Hewson had this. If you've ever played the NHL games, up to, I think they probably switched him out around 2008 or 9. But man, Jim Hewson was the voice of EA Sports NHL games forever, and he just had this command, this way he would call the players' names. And Paul Correa was my favorite, so he'd put Correa takes it down the ice and shoots Solani with a goal, he scores. Like, he just had this kind of, not a deep voice, but this command to the way his pronunciation. He had this very, I don't know, he was growing up definitely the voice of the NHL games. Jim Hewson, a lot of people hate on him for his biases for the Vancouver Canucks, but he was their local guy, and obviously he didn't have biases in the video game, so I didn't fucking care. But Jim Hewson, voice of the NHL games most importantly, but also the Vancouver Canucks is on my list as well.
Very good.
Brian.
Probably the current NFL broadcaster icon that's out there today, Al Michaels. Right. So Al Michaels been broadcasting games for a long time. He was on Monday Night Football for a while, then he was on Sunday Night Football for a long time. And I miss him on that Sunday night slot. Now you can find him on Amazon Prime, which is still weird, every Thursday night. But still, great voice, cadence, excitement, knows the game of football. He's not the Madden level. He's not teaching the game at that level, but just a rock solid person. And I just enjoy it. It's another one. Currently today, when he is broadcasting a game, it just takes the game to another level for me. Even if it's a game, it's like I wouldn't even normally watch this game this long because of the matchups or whatever it is, but just the fact that Al Michaels is there, it takes the game to another level. Yeah, and some of and maybe not, but the iconic USA Hockey when they defeated. Yeah, that was him way back.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great Al Michaels many years ago. So there you go. Makes my list.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, let me adjust because that was going to be next on my list, and I was going to bring it up starting with that. I'm going to give you one phrase, and you guys tell me who. So Al Michaels, great choice.
I was also planning a lead in if he didn't mention it. I was like, I'm going to get in on this one.
Right. I'm going to go with. Well, we'll come back to it. I'm going to go Bob Costas.
Yeah.
Bob Costas is definitely the peer to Al Michaels. A little bit younger,
Sure,
but definitely the same career sort of thing. Has done everything from boxing to baseball to football to the Olympics. You know what I mean? There's nothing he didn't do, and he has that iconic voice. Maybe not as booming as Al Michaels.
Definitely recognizable.
Definitely
though.
recognizable. And he does great in Vince McMahon docs, so that's always fun too.
Sure.
Yeah, but so Bob Costas definitely that'll be next on my list.
Nice.
Yeah, he's one. It's like if I want to sit down and talk sports with somebody who, and probably
have a
any
beer with him.
sport, yeah, it would be super knowledgeable, great stories. I'm sure. Yeah, he would definitely make that list for sure.
I got a lot of time for people who have done that, like you said, have called a lot of different sports, because that takes being passionate enough to learn multiple sports. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel confident in saying, like, I could, given the opportunity, and I could cover the Leafs. I could call a hockey game. Like, I'm in it to that level to where I'm that passionate about it. Basketball, I'd be a good color guy. You know what I mean? Like, I love basketball a lot. It's my second favorite sport, but I'm not going to give you all those intricacies
beyond
of it.
that.
Yeah, but if you plunk me into baseball, I'd be like, I have to I don't fucking know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably couldn't even tell you. It would take a minute to be like if he's a left-handed or a right-handed batter looking at him. It would take a minute.
It's the little white thing, and it goes into the green stuff over there. Wow.
He scores! It's a home run. Swish! It's out of here. Yeah,
touchdown.
But it takes. I mean, to understand, to be able to call well. It's one thing to be like, I also used to cover the sport. I used to cover that, but like to call well multiple sports is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right,
Nikolai, who's next on your list?
Me. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with another. This guy is, in many ways, he is the voice of a sport to me. He is one of the prominent voices of sport to me, and it's Marv Albert, and it's basketball. Marv Albert is just his like the cadence of his voice is very like it's basketball. It is that Marv Albert is basketball. Like it goes together, right? The NBA and Marv Albert are synonymous. And
having your wife called by Marv Albert, that would be fun. And he takes a shit, flop right in the toilet.
Does he go for the second creamer? Yes, he does. Like, it's just like, yeah. I mean, it is insane. I mean, he is he's the voice of basketball. There's been many great, commentators of basketball and broadcasters of basketballs, both nationally and in specific cities. But Marv Albert is basketball to me.
Who was the coach he was with all the time? It was a former Cavs and Hawks coach. He called I'm with the czar of the telestrator. He always called him the czar of the telestrator.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny Wilkins, was it?
No. We'll look it up here, but I think anyways. Anyhow. But
will he Google it later? He will. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Lights turning yellow. It's right. It's green. Go. He's going through the intersection. Wow.
Only to be cut off in traffic by an asshole. Oh no.
Good. Something else is fucking up. No, just me.
I'm low battery.
You got that right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. So anyway, Brian.
Yeah, very good. By the way, Marv Albert, he had that weird allegations of weird behavior. They were like, you know what? He's too good not to have on here, so we're just gonna. Mike Fratello, that's who it was. Was the other guy, the coach, Mike Fratello.
You
But
let him wear
yeah,
whoever's panties he wants. That's fine.
exactly. Well, we're going to
Yeah.
bring him back anyway because he's just too good. He's too good. He's too talented.
Makes
You
him
don't hear
comfortable
that a whole
under his
bunch these
pants.
days.
Let him wear it.
Exactly. Also, NBA. You know, this guy also did football, college football. But I used to really enjoy him in the 80s, doing a lot of NBA commentating. The great Brent Musburger. You could picture him. I'm sure if you heard his voice, you might recognize him.
He does
He is
some Sunday
still.
football here and there, doesn't he still?
I think he's the official radio guy of the Raiders
Okay.
right now. That's where he's at the moment here. But another guy, just super passionate, knowledgeable, crisp. I always enjoyed him, and I was a huge NBA watcher in the '80s with the Celtics and the Lakers, and the whole Larry Bird era of the Boston Celtics. I just ate up many games, and he was a integral part of many Sunday afternoons, sitting there watching NBA basketball with my dad. So that's another. His voice ties that memory of watching those games as well, not unlike John Madden and others there. So Brent Musburger, fantastic.
Very good.
Yep.
All right. Next on my list is an icon in the sport he played, the sport he commentated, film, TV. He's done it all, and he's done it all with wit, charm, and lovability. He is Bob Uecker, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Bob Uecker has been the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers for many years. He was the movie voice of the Cleveland Indians in the 90s or the 80s. He was the foil for Mr.
The movie voice.
Yeah, he was the
Major League.
Just a bit outside. Tried the corner and missed. That's Bob Uecker.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he was the call in the movie.
In the movie,
right? And he's also
Harry Doyle in the movie.
But
yeah.
Bob, he also he played for. I'd have to look at it. Who did he play for?
He played for the Brewers.
Did he play for the Brewers also? Yeah.
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
But just he was even throughout like the when he played, like he was known as just one of the funniest motherfuckers there was. He'd be on Johnny Carson. That's how he got these gigs, is his personality. I mean, he went toe to toe with goddamn Mr. Belvedere. So, I mean, if you want to talk about an icon of life, it's Bob Uecker.
Yeah. Good one.
Nikolai.
Yes, sir. All right, for my final pick, you guessed it. I'm going back to hockey. To save the best for last. To give you guys Hockey Night in Canada is the Saturday night broadcast in the NHL, and it is the utmost of prime time. If you're playing, especially you're playing 7 p.m. on Hockey Night in Canada, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the players to get the intermission towels that have the Hockey Night in Canada logo on them. It's a big deal for anybody that's played in any of those games. Typically, it's the Leafs playing on a Saturday night at 7 on Hockey Night in Canada. But the voice of Hockey Night in Canada, hockey's kin to John Madden, was Bob Cole. Bob Cole spent 5 decades as the primetime NHL guy on Saturday nights, Hockey Night in Canada. 50 years, he was the voice of hockey. He also did all the Olympic coverage. He was the guy. He was the fucking guy in hockey for years. And his big thing was, oh, baby. And he had this very old-timey way that, I mean, for fuck's sake, he started, calling games back in the fucking 60s or whatever. So, I mean, he was the voice of hockey and in its most primetime spot. So Bob Cole was just, I mean, I think he just passed away within the last 10 years. But he was 90 years old when he passed, but spent 50 years calling hockey's most premier games every Saturday night. And so Bob Cole is an icon in the hockey world and in the broadcasting world. Bob Cole absolutely belongs on my Mount Rushmore.
Very good. Very good. As a kid, when I got into NFL football, this is like early
They just
'80s,
had leather helmets, right?
and not just a little bit past that, but it was an exciting time to stay up late anyway. But to stay up late for Monday night football that was another level of football as a young kid, and at that time it was Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford, and one of the guy making my list. Just I liked him so, but Don Meredith, Dandy Don Meredith. He was hilarious. He was a former quarterback of the Cowboys in the '60s. One of their first quarterbacks ever, actually, as a franchise, was Don Meredith. Took them to a couple of championship games. He was the quarterback, Nick, at the Ice Bowl that they lost to the Green Bay Packers to go to Super Bowl I. But Don Meredith was the quarterback back then. But he was just funny. And at the end of every game, practically, you look forward to hearing him sing, "Turn out the lights, the party's over," So I don't know. Just him broadcasting games. I liked him back then. I liked his goofiness, and it takes me back to those fond memories as a young kid staying up late to watch NFL football, and that's it. So he makes my list.
Nice.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right.
Dean?
I have the last pick here of the evening. So let's bring it back full circle. Jim Donovan.
Sure.
I said everything, previously, my thoughts and about him, his career, his life, his passing. He is a Cleveland icon. And there's a list, just like any city, of your sports icons and all that. And he will be forever known as the voice of the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely.
Yep. He was and is the voice of the Cleveland Browns. So
yes, absolutely.
Jim Donovan finishes it off my list.
Very good. Any honorable mentions? Is that everybody's list?
I have so many honorable mentions. This was not an easy subject, guys. There's so many great broadcasters out there. I'll go through mine quickly.
Go ahead.
Vin Scully. How none of us put him on the actual list. The voice of the Dodgers for so many years. I had Howard Cosell. His Howard Cosell, just his rapport with Muhammad Ali throughout all those years was just brilliant. I had Al Michaels, Marv Albert, Joe Tate for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers for so many years. Pat Summerall, I also had. And then again, I'm very surprised. This one actually made my first run on my list when I did my first draft. Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Sure.
How iconic, given just not only, how, because he was with, the Cubs for all those years, and then the whole, Saturday Night Live situation, and, it's just an icon in baseball. So Harry Carey finishes out my honorable mentions.
Yeah, he would have been another one to have a beer with. Would have been a blast, I'm sure.
I mean, the dude would get drunk during the games and take his shirt off, and such a great fucking dude. Hi, everybody.
Yep.
Welcome to Cubs baseball.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Seems to be a bright one out here. Might as well get it.
If the moon were made of spare ribs, would you eat yourself? Heck, I know I would. I'd wash it down with an ice cold Budweiser.
Might as well take my shirt off and get ready for the Cubs 7th inning. So let's go ahead and get that stretch going on. Everybody put your
my senior quote in my my senior quote in my in my yearbook was a Will Ferrell as Harry Carey quote, actually.
Which was what?
Hey, what's your favorite planet? Mine's the sun.
The beauty about Harry
all I know is sort of the king of planets.
The beauty about Harry Carey
all I know is when that thing burns out, we're all gonna die.
If you can do that voice. You can say anything as Harry Carey, and it's funny. You can just read off a grocery list. I got eggs. I got eggs earlier, and then I got some milk. Milk's on the list.
Yeah.
Hey, Marissa, we think you're doing a great job at the department you're heading up, but I'm sorry to tell you, you've been let go. Make sure to see Janice in Human Resources on your way out the door.
I'm sorry, but Grant didn't.
Who's mad at that?
Yeah.
She held on tight, but that truck just was too much. I'm sorry.
Dean, I'm sorry you spent a fortune on those headphones, but they're trash. You gotta send them back.
I'm feeling an outro prelude here. Yeah. That's going to be the outlet. That's going to be the voice of the outro. Nick, any other honorable mentions?
Yeah,
sir?
quickly. I'm a big fan of catchphrases and one-liners, and in basketball, I feel like lends itself to that. As a Raptors fan, Jack Armstrong is a big one for me. Always great, love it. And Austin Carr for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Similar sentiment, but get that weak hammer stuff down. Out of here, hammer down. Yeah.
Slam the hammer
I love
down.
those guys, man. Love it. So those are just a few. But yeah, I also had we talked about Pat Summerall and stuff. There's probably been just I don't know, too many to name over the years, but yeah, a lot of great broadcasters. And I mean, all of us here are sports fans and like our teams and stuff, and there's just that's that common theme, right? That familiarity, the fun you have listening to them, and the comfort that you feel hearing them call a game is just it's awesome.
There's a reason you don't watch sports on mute.
There you go. That's right.
Yep, that's right.
That's right. I got a few quick. One of the early kings of college football broadcasting, the great Keith Jackson, was fun to listen to in the 80s, 90s. You just hear him to this day. Whoa, Nelly, what a play, or something like that. He had that catchphrase. Just a great voice, great cadence. I had Pat Summerall as well. Nick pairing up with John Madden. Frank Gifford, again, Monday Night Football for many, many years. A solid broadcaster, and he had just a great voice. Loved listening to him. I also had Howard Cosell, Dean, Tommy Heinsohn. He was a former Boston Celtic, went on to broadcast NBA games. Again, another one that ties to the 80s and the 90s broadcasting on CBS and other networks here. Just a lot of fun to listen to that guy. And locally, I also had Tom Hamilton, Dean, Jim Donovan, of course, Joe Tate. And the current voice for many years of the Ohio State Buckeyes radio, Paul Keels. If you listen to Ohio State Buckeyes football, and this
very
Paul
very
Keels
good voice.
Yes, he is the voice of the Buckeyes since I think 98 or something like that. So, just fantastic. Great job. Unique voice, like you said, and he's another one. I can't imagine anyone commentating Ohio State Buckeyes football without him. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. All right, gentlemen.
Beautiful.
Done it.
Beautiful.
Yep. Nick, I said Harry Carey. You could take us out. How about any or maybe any blend of great sportscasters that you wish to
Brian,
take us out?
I simply don't think there's any better blend out there than perhaps you and an electric bike. And you might be saying, hey, where would I get one of those things? What kind of contraption even is an electric bike? Well, rather than me tell you, why don't I send you over to our friends? They're at RPM Bike Shop. That's right. They're in Carrollton, Ohio. Give them a call. 330-808-7792. Give them a ring-a-ding. They'll pick the phone right up. If you don't believe me, go to their Facebook page. Hey, go over there and just type in RPM Bike Shop, or go to the World Wide Web, rpmbikeshop.com, and ride into your new electric future with an electric bike from RPM Bike Shop. Cubs win. Cubs win. And if that's not enough for you, perhaps you could tantalize your ears to the colorful sounds of Convincing Idiots on your favorite podcast platform. Hey, where would you go and find
Just went
that?
smooth right into it.
Probably
No, by all means.
you can find any link to that on our link tree. That's right. Oh no, hey, where'd my video go? 10%. 10% sounds like enough to do some video. Hey, I guess not. All right, so go to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com, and there you can find everywhere that you can listen to this podcast. You can also go to our link tree to follow us on social media. Hey, what even is social media anyway? Convincing Idiots link tree. Put it into Google. It'll do the rest. For this episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm Harry Carey.
Gen X Brian.
Hey, am I still here? I'm back.
Yeah.
Hi. God damn it, I thought that was you.
Hey, how much did you even hear of the outro? Did you get it all?
I got most of it. I got enough, trust me.
Well, that's fantastic news. For this episode of Convincing Idiots, Cubs win. I'm Millennial Nick. Hey.
I am Zennial Dean.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to eat the boot if it was made of spare ribs?
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.
Ham grape.
Yard work and drinking beer and
Are you getting that too? What is happening? Does he not hear it? Oh, Dean. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, it's feeding. Nope, back. Bring the beef back. Let's fucking go. This is a banger, Brian. This is the best Dean has ever contributed to the show. Oh, fantastic. Dean, thank you for your contributions. This is fantastic. Okay, full disclosure, we don't know what's going on. This has to stay in the show, but we are going to have to probably end this call and start another one.
Yeah. Can you hear?
I don't want it to stop. This is gonna haunt my fucking dreams, dude. That's all I'm gonna hear tonight.